We have a lot of things that make us different, but when you watch the achievers, the people on stage, look for the commonalities, look for the common traits of achievers. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael or Rembrandt. There's common traits among great achievers. Political leaders such as Constantine the Great, Gandhi, or George Washington. Military leaders, Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, or Genghis Khan. Explorers such as Marco Polo, Magellan, or Columbus. Writers, scientists, inventors, philosophers, religious leaders. Many differences in their life, different cultures. We're here today from different cultures. I remember one time I was in Argentina and a lady stood up and she said, "You're not from around here," through her translator. "You don't know us." And I remember sitting there saying, when you go to bed at night, what do you dream about? A better life for your family, hope for the future, to be remembered well, to do good in your life? And she said, "Well, of course I dream those things." I said, "Then it doesn't matter the language we speak, or necessarily the culture we live in, or the country we live in, because we all dream the same dreams in different accents and different languages." So when you see people being recognized, they all come from different places, but they have common things that make them similar. Let me give you four things that you will find in all great achievers. Four things you will find in the people that are being recognized today. Number one, they all have focus. Focus. Specific intent. Everything you do, you must do with specific intent. Sometimes you're going to feel obsessed with this. Sometimes you'll have people around you say, "You know, you're a little obsessed with this." And sometimes that's okay. What's wrong with being obsessed with things you're passionate about? What's wrong with being obsessed with the things in your life that give you joy? What's wrong with being obsessed with accomplishment? What's wrong with being obsessed with doing well in your life by doing good for other people? What's wrong with waking up in the morning thinking, "Today I'm going to make a difference in my life and I'm going to reach out and find other people that want to move forward in theirs"? There's nothing wrong with it. It's focus. Number one, they're all focused. Number two, they're always prepared. They're always prepared. Ferdinand Magellan decided early on he wanted to sail the seas. He studied geography, navigation, astronomy. And he was like most achievers in life. When knowledge wasn't in front of him, he traveled to knowledge. People came from all over the world this weekend to be at Manifest, to travel to knowledge, to travel to inspiration, to travel to information. They readied themselves. Readying oneself for the moment is inherent in all great achievers. Benjamin Disraeli wrote, "The secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his time when it comes." You must be prepared. You must practice. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book, The Outliers, The Story of Success, talks about 10,000-hour rule. And he says you're not an expert in anything until you've done it 10,000 times. In basketball, it's 10,000 free throws, 10,000 hours. Playing the piano, 10,000 hours. It's the practice, it's the repetition. The beauty of the achievers, the beauty of the people that have walked this stage is this. They recognized when they started, they didn't have to have 10,000 hours, because in what we do and how we build teams, what you must do is find someone that's got 10,000 hours. Find a leader with 10,000 hours and maneuver your way on their shoulders. Stand on the shoulders of people with 10,000 hours. You'll earn money all along the way, and throughout the process, you'll gain your 10,000 hours of experience. Only in this, only in what we do, can you stand on someone's shoulders and earn a living and create a lifestyle while you're developing expertise. Number two, they're always prepared. Number three, a common trait amongst all the achievers you'll see on this stage is perseverance. My dear friend Andy Andrews says, persist without exception. Keep moving. Keep moving. It's lonely. It stinks sometimes. You feel so insignificant. This common trait of perseverance is the one that drives me the craziest. I hate perseverance. Napoleon said the greatest attribute of a soldier is not loyalty, it's not courage, it's endurance. It's the ability to keep moving when others quit. If you own a traditional business, it's amazing how all your employees are with you until about 4:59 in the afternoon. And then they punch out, they're gone, they leave, and you are there alone feeling insignificant. feeling alone. In our country, in the United States, at a critical time in the founding of our country, George Washington, you talk about feeling insignificant and alone. Perseverance is born and starts breathing when you feel most alone and most insignificant. And he walked in front of his troops that were freezing and they hadn't eaten and they hadn't been paid. And they weren't fighting as Americans, they were fighting as Virginians and Hampshiremen and Marylanders. And George Washington, this gentleman that felt very insignificant, who had not won many battles at all, ultimately would be considered the father of our country. But up until that point, he's losing and he's feeling insignificant, and he walked in front of his troops and he said, "Let only Americans stand watch this night." And those words from a gentleman that felt insignificant and alone, that was trying to find a way to keep moving, those words gave breath to the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. 1963, in this country, one of the greatest speeches in our country's history was given by Martin Luther King Jr. standing at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, who quoted from the Declaration of Independence when years earlier, when somebody felt alone, when you're driving in a car by yourself, wondering if this will work for you and you feel alone, give your speech. Edison worked week after week without a full night's sleep. He'd take cat naps under his desk. Michelangelo painted without rest in excruciating pain. He slept up on the scaffolding. They said that when he would come off, it had been so long, he would take his socks off and his skin would literally fall apart and come off with his socks. John Milton continued writing poetry after he was completely blind. Beethoven wrote some of his greatest works when he was totally deaf. Perseverance. He would cut off the legs of the piano, place it on the floor. They couldn't hear the music, so he would feel the music. There's times when you do this, and sometimes, whether you like it or not, you'll feel numb to some of it. You keep doing it. It's perseverance. It's perseverance. Number one is focus. Number two is always be prepared. Number three is perseverance. And number four, all great achievers, everyone that you'll see on this stage, every single body, every single heartbeat, every single soul that walks across this stage, they know there is a greater purpose. They know there's something bigger that moves them. Abraham Lincoln stated that he felt like he was a vehicle for God's work. When Handel composed the Messiah, he said that he disappeared and the work was completed by a power far greater than himself. It's not always spiritual, folks. They're great achievers. Some great achievers have great faith and others have no faith, but they know there's something greater than themselves. Sometimes it was to serve humanity. The reality is this: everyone that walks on the stage believes differently. Some are common, but some believe differently. But they believe in something greater than themselves. And they did things because they felt compelled to do them. March 23rd, 1775, Patrick Henry said, "The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have if life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." It's something bigger. It's something more compelling. It's more than focus now. It's more than perseverance now. It's more than preparation now. It's something inside of a man or a woman sitting in a room like this that compels them to want to be more, to do more, to give more, and to be a part of something significant in their life. In 1962, September, John F. Kennedy, we choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept. People that sit in this audience and eventually walk on stage, people that stand in front of you and we applaud them and they smile and they laugh. They made a decision one time when they recognized they were a lion and they would never lose focus over the opinion of a sheep. They recognized at that moment that I'm going to do this not because it's easy. I'm going to do this because I must. I'm going to do this because it is hard. I'm going to do it because it's worth it. On June 18th, 1940, Winston Churchill said, "Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be free and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth lasts for 1,000 years, men will say this was our finest hour." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something.